This is lesson 4, radical equations. The numbers in each column are related. Your goal is to determine how they are related, determine which numbers belong in the blank parts of the columns, and write an explanation for how you know the numbers belong there. For here, I'm going to square it and get 4. Here, my number is going to be 9. Here, my number is 225. Here, my number is 7. Here, my number is 100. Here, it is 144. Move this up just a little bit. Here, my number is 13. Here, my number is m squared. And here is the square root of n. Over here, I have 8. Here, I have 5. Here, my number is 1,331. Here, my number is 4. Here, I have 1,000. Here, I have 343. My number here is 14. My number here is p to the 3rd power. And here I have the square root and actually the cube root of q. Now, for example 1, it says, find the rule to part 1. How are you able to determine which number belonged in the blank? Okay. Well, from going right, going right, okay, we took the square, we squared each number. Coming back left, we took the square root. Of each number. Next, it says find the rule part 2 over here. How were you able to determine which number belonged in the blank? Well, again, going right, in other words, going this way, we cubed each number. Okay. Going left, can't go the same way there. So in other words, going left, coming back this way. Okay. So coming left here, okay, coming back left this way, okay. What we do is we took the cube root of each number. Okay. Now the next question says, were you able to write more than one number in any of the blanks? The answer is no. And were there any blanks that could not be filled? Again, the answer is no. So next we have some things to fill out. And it says, and I know this is filled in, but it says, we could extend the find the rule exercise to include an infinite number of rows, and in each case we would be able to fill in the blanks. Therefore, we can say that positive square roots and cube roots exist. because only one number worked in each of the blanks. We can say that the positive roots are unique. Okay. So when we want to solve radical equations, okay, when we want to solve radical equations, the symbol right here is called the radical. We only work with radicals where n equals 2, which we call the square root, and n equals 3, which we call the cube root. Okay. So now when we solve our equations, ladies and gentlemen, just find the positive value. Okay, find the positive value. So here I have x squared equals 25. So I am going to take the square root of both sides. So here I've got x equals 25, sorry, x equals 5. Doing so well there with no mistakes today, except for one. Okay. The next thing, we have x squared equals 25 to the negative 1. Well, this is a little bit different, okay? So we have x squared equals 25 to the negative 1. Well, we have to rewrite that first, okay? And the way that we have to rewrite that is x squared equals 1 over 25. So now we can take the square root of both sides here. So now we have x equals 1/5. Okay. The last one, we have x cubed equals 8. So here we're going to take the cube root of each side. Okay. And again, we talked about this in your calculators. So we have x equals 2. The next thing we're going to talk about is how we can use that calculator. So our first step here, okay, is to take the square root of both sides of the equation. And I'm sorry, guys, I got to fix this. I'm just so type A, it's going to drive me crazy. Let's just zero. No, okay. Just find the positive value of x that makes that equation true and check your answer. Okay, now I know we checked all of these up in class, so I'm going to check this now. So we have x squared equals 169. So when I take the square root of both, I get x equals 13. So now when I check this, I have x squared equals 169. When I substitute in 13 squared equals 169. 13 squared is 169, and that equals 169. And that checks. Okay? So next, we have some word problems here. Our square-shaped park, notice it says squared, so that's squared. Okay? Has an area of 324 feet squared. What is the dimensions of the park? Write and solve an equation. Check your solution. So if our area equals s squared, and I substitute in the 324, Now I can take the square root of both sides. So now when I do that, I have 18 equals S. So my side is 18 feet. So to check that, I have A equals S squared. So 324 equals 18 squared. 324 equals 324, and it checks. So next we have x cubed equals 64. So x cubed equals 64. Cube root both sides. We have x equals 4. So now let's check it. So we have x cubed equals 64. Substitute in 4 for x. And I'm sorry, I used squared instead of cubed. 64 equals 64. Our next one, as I said, be careful. We've got that negative in here. So you have x squared or cubed equals 256 to the negative 1. So x cubed equals 1 over 256. Now we can take the cubed root. So x equals 1 over 16. Oh, and this is squared. I'm sorry. I thought it was cubed. So it's just squared. Sorry, guys. Okay. So now when we check this, we have x squared equals 256 to the negative 1. Substitute in. Here, guys, you need that parentheses because you're squaring that 1 over 16. So 256 to the negative 1. So 1 over 256. And then 256 to the negative 1 was 256 to the negative 1. Our last problem of the day is volume. So a cube has a volume, okay, of 27. Now remember, a cube is a square, but in 3 dimensions. Okay, so when you do a volume, okay, of that, you have volume equals S cubed. So to solve this equation, we substitute in for V for 27 equals S cubed. And again, now we take the cube root of both sides. So we have S equals 3, or 3 inches. Okay, so now when we check this, we can check by saying V equals S to the third. Substitute in 27 equals 3 cubed. 27 equals 27. And that is our lesson for today.